the Dov. It's probably out of yes. I think we did it too early before the island was on, though. So you should have a lot of.
Okay, thank you. Amazing. Thank you. Everything's in Brooklyn. Shom's Zachar, Briss. Everything's in Brooklyn.
Briss is also in Brooklyn.
Briss is in Brooklyn. Exactly. All
right. Well, you should have a lot of nachas in Brooklyn.
exactly my sentiments.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're up to, what did we get up to? Oh, so we're middle of the whole Shakal V'Tarya here. There's a lot of Shakal V'Taryas tonight. Not such a long daf. So we said we were going to discuss the Amaleki because the Gemara says that you're allowed. This Gemara here in Bava Metzia says you're allowed to steal from a guy straight out. It says you're for sure not. You don't have a chiyuv to pay your goyish workers on time. I mean, you're supposed to, but you're not over on any isurim if you don't. But the Gemara also says that if you steal from an Amaleki, which is just a representation of a guy, so then it says you're also allowed to steal. But that's not the way we paskin the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch does not paskin like this shita, as much as people would like to think that we do. And you're not allowed to steal from a guy. So we're going back and forth. We're the second wide line down. So we're going back and forth with the what to do with the psukim of Leisalin, right? Because it was really the basic. We said there could be 6 different psukim, but the basic 2 psukim was Leisalin, which is don't leave over pay till either the next day or the next night. And then there was B'yom Titin Tzchar. The mitzvah to say that you have to pay that day. So we're going back and forth. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, and the machlokes between Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, and the Tanna Kama. So the second wide line, Rabbi Yosef, at the bottom of Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Beis. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Hay Lo Salin Pula Sachir Itcha Advaiker. What does he do with the word of Lo Salin? Right, my Avilei. Right. Meaning, what does he do with this? What does he do with this pasuk? So Mibayle. The Rav Asi, the Amar Rav Asi, afilu loy sarche elu livtzer loy eshkol echad shel hanovin. Even if he only rented the worker to pick 1 cluster of grapes, and that's all you need to pay him for. Over mishum baltalin, then you're over on baltalin. Right. So, meaning, and this could come up. I don't know what the din would be by a katan. Right? But let's say, you hire a cutter, you say, hey kid, you help me unload my packages, I'll give you $1, right? And then you look around in your pocket, you don't have $1. So you say, okay, come back or whatever, then you forget about it. So then, even though the kid just helped you out.
This would be to your own kid also?
That's a good question. I don't know if it applies to a cutter.
And if you tell your kid, go make your bed, I'll give you $1, go make your bed. You never give him that $1.
Is that called hiring him? Or you're just trying to bribe him?
What is there? I'm asking. Is there a difference? What if you tell him go clean the garage and I'll pay you $10? Go wash my car, Erev Pesach, and I'll give you $10.
No, so that tackle would be that you're hiring.
So I'm saying, and then if I never pay him,
you got a problem. unless it doesn't apply to a cotton, which I'm not sure. But otherwise,
it sounds like from Sefer Chinuch it applies to a cotton. Chivas Rashba says it applies to katan, but like everything else, it's a machlokes rishonim.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that same.
Don't pay him. He'll wash the car again the next time with the windows open. I think you should pay him.
What did you say?
You pay him because the next time he'll wash your car with the same deal.
The window open.
The window's open.
I ask another kid to do it next year.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is in Brooklyn. You ever think of that?
No, I never thought of that.
Okay.
Her parents live in Brooklyn.
I know that you told me that.
Anyway, so that's what it's saying, that even if you only hired him for a little bit, so Rashi says, what does it mean? It means a schir shoyz, even though if you only rented him for a schir shoyz, right? Tosfos says, what's the chiddush here? Right, so you would have thought schir is mashma schir yoim or chatzi yoim, right? But if a koldahu, then maybe that would be the havamina. If you just a little bit of rent, that's not really called an employment, right? So then that's the chiddush of the Gemara, that's called employment, Right?
I think the Ritva says the Chiddush is Pachas Mishava Pruta even.
Oh, right. So thank you for that reminder. Yes, and then there are those that say that even Pachas Mishava Pruta, but that brings you into a whole different machlokes. Is this din that you have to pay your workers? Is it a din mominus, or is it din menschlichkeit? We could have done this. We could have done this for Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Meaning, is it a din in? I don't even know what it would be. It's not your day. I mean, it's in Chashem Mishpat, right? The Ma'aser the din of Chashem Mishpat. I mean, what's enough kamina? If it's a business thing and it's a money thing, then anything less than a shava pruta is nothing, right? So
Minchas Chinuch says like is basin going to be niskaken for
right,
Gazel?
because less than a shava pruta is not considered stealing. It's not considered stealing.
Right.
But if it's a menschlich thing, a menschlichkeit thing, so then even less than a shava pruta, you have a problem. So if you go with that ritva, so he's learning that it's a menschlich thing, not has nothing to do with chashem mishpat. Okay, good weiter. So ve'idach, and what is the Tana? What is the Tana of the Mishnah? What does he do with? How does he know that somebody that's hired for even a minimal thing is chayiv? So mive'elav hu noisei is nafshay. It says he is noisei his nefesh. Right? He's meshabed himself. Davar, what does it mean? Davar a meiser nafshay elav. It's something that he's meiser nefesh for. On Talmud Aleph. What does this mean? Meaning, well, we'll see. It'll be explained in a second. But basically, what he's saying is that any type of job that a person does and he's meiser his nefesh for, then that is, I mean, even if it's for an hour, even if it's to pick a cluster of grapes, right? You might have to climb up a high tree or a high vine to get the grapes, so you're risking. So therefore, you get paid. And the other shita, meaning Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, how does he know that that you're going to punish him as if you're taking his nefesh, right? Meaning, we're saying that it's mamish. You're taking by not paying a guy who does work. You're mamish taking his nefesh. That's what the Tanna Kama says. So how does Rabbi Yosef Yehuda know that? Which is interesting because it's more like a musar thing now. It doesn't seem to have a halachic ramification. It's like a musar thing. Okay, but look at the Tanya. Ve'elav hu noiseis nafsha. And he carries his nefesh, meaning he's being meiser nefesh. Why is this guy going up a ramp? The nisla be'ilan, or hanging from a tree, right? Obviously to get the fruits. And he's being meiser himself in misa. You meaning Rashi says you could fall off the tree, you could fall off the ramp, all those type of things. So lo yaschara, wasn't he doing this for his schar, right? Or another pshat, whoever squashes, meaning whoever doesn't pay the paycheck, it's as if he took the nefesh from him. So that's what we're going to learn out from the Elov. Right? So it's an interesting thing because are you allowed to put your life at risk to earn a living? It can't be that he's mamish being meiser nefesh. You can't go take a job that puts your life in danger. And it must be that
people do it all the time.
What do you mean, a yid?
I don't know how many Yidden were coal miners, but that's what a coal miner does.
I do that every day.
Yeah, if Rachman decides to stand in the swimming pool when he's fixing somebody's box.
Right, Hanami. So, but is that called putting your life in danger?
Sure. You make the wrong step. You make a little mistake.
Yeah, but what you're doing, if you make a mistake, if you drive a car, you also make a mistake.
Yeah, that's right. So you shouldn't drive cars for a living. I know a guy with a snood business, you know. I don't know how to come up with something like that, but you know.
I don't know. I think, listen, everything has.
Tried to put a snoot on a character man. So
I'm saying everything.
The only thing I can think of is a tshuva I learned this Shabbos by Moshe, who says that you need to say a hagoimel every time you fly in an airplane.
Yes.
but it's
Met
different.
somebody last night that does this.
Oh, you know somebody does this, yeah. So
After last night's daf, Eli Krisher, you don't know who he is, but the oil of some of the oil, Eli Krisher benches Goimel every flight he takes.
Ramosha says in the Tshuva
Like
that yeah, some people are moira not to make the bracha, but they're making a mistake. Whatever, he's mamish goes full force. Anyways, he's mechalik between a plane and a car. He says that by a plane or a boat, you're in a place where you can't survive. You're be'etzem b'sakana. So mamela, you need to make hagoyma. When you drive a car, after you've successfully completed your trip, there was nisgala. There was no sakana there to begin with. So maybe when the guy's climbing up the ladder or whatever, after he gets down and he does his job, it wasn't be'etzem b'sakana. He was never. It was never in sakana.
Right. Okay.
Why is it
that's what
different
you
than a
have to say.
plane? Why would that be different than a plane? Why isn't a plane Megal on that?
No, because by a plane, if you can't survive in the sky or you can't survive in the ocean.
Meaning
So,
that's the same thing. If there's an accident in a plane, the chances of survival are very slim.
No, not the chance of survival, because car accidents also very low chance of survival.
Most car accidents, the survival is fine.
No, but I think that the fact that you're putting yourself in an airplane where you're going to a makam that you can't live. You can't live in the sky and you can't live on the ocean. So maybe buy a boat and a plane, you make a goyim. But every time you get in a car and drive somewhere,
you don't necessarily.
Yeah.
Ramosha Paskin like that for himself. He did that.
I don't know if he did that. How many times was he on a plane already?
Yeah. I'm sure he would. No, I'm sure he would have. I don't know how many times on a plane.
I don't know.
Aaron,
Nowadays, it's different.
Ramosh never even flew private. No.
Fact.
Very good. I mean, there are poskim that say that had Chazal been around when cars were invented.
Yeah, one second. Tati definitely has a picture of Ramosha in the Memphis airport together with him.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So Memphis. But that also, first of all, planes, it's different now. L'chayr, it's less dangerous now. And some Aser would have held that he would have asked driving cars too.
Yeah, we said that.
Yeah. Now, what I want to say is like this: when people get up and speak and say, "I want to thank this fellow for being Meiser Nefesh," right? Like Shayash's dinner. Now, I'm sure they're going to say that Meiser Nefesh about 100 times, about every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So l'chayr, this Gemara is a raya that Meiser Nefesh doesn't necessarily have to mean Meiser Nefesh means you did a job. You did a job. You don't have to take it so literal. That's sort of, even though Rashi says you may fall off. But
yeah, Rashi says Masar Atzer Lamisa. It's a finish.
Right. So, but every job you're doing, there is a possibility of Misa.
I have it every day.
What are you saying about?
We happened to speak last week in one of this year, I think one of them in the morning, about the guy with the airplane. We were talking about the Schleiman. And then last week, they had when the fellows who went into Rafa, who saved the 4 hostages, when they all bench Goimel together. I had a video of that. Yeah, I mean they just said Amen. One of the Rav, a soldier Rav he said the Goimel, and yeah.
I think Kuliyama we might do that Goimel is
40 or 50 fellas together.
Yeah, very nice. Anyways, okay, so that was my take on it, but I don't know if that's correct or not. Fine. Now, who's nefesh? Who's risking their life by not paying? So it's the Gazlan who's risking his life, meaning in this case, it's the boss because he didn't pay, so he's risking his life. No, it's the nefesh of the guy, the employee, because if you don't pay him, he's going to get distraught. I'm assuming it means he's going to get distraught, and he's not going to know where his money comes from, and he might lose his life. Don't steal from a poor person, even though he's already poor, right? I don't know if even though, but he's poor, and don't cause them any stress. Hashem is going to fight the fights. And he's going to be kaveya, whoever's kaveya their nefesh. Right? So meaning, watch out. Don't start up with the people Hashem doesn't want you to start up with, because Hashem's going to take care of you. All right, so that means, so according to that, nafshay is referring to the nigzal, to the gazlan. Umadav nafshay shel nigzal t'chsiv kain orchas kol b'tzeya botza es nefesh balav yikach. Anybody who's a b'tzeya is he likes things, right? And he takes away the owners. He takes away the owners. V'idach nami haksiv es nefesh balav yikach, and the Oland says he takes away the nefesh of his bilam. Bilam the hashta. It means the bilam that right now, meaning it's the after the gezela, Rashi says, which is the gazlan, right? Meaning the one who steals the life, really it's his own life, right? So it's talking about the gazlan. The other one says it sounds like he's being kovei on himself that he's a nefesh, which sounds like it's the gazlan. Matam komer. It's explaining the reason. Matam kovas koveim. Why is it that Hashem will steal from those that steal? Sure, the natlu nefesh, because they took somebody's nefesh, because they stole from him. Yeah, fine. So that is fine. So that's the end of the machlokes back and forth of how you darshan the psukim. I mean, it all came from the machlokes whether a ger toishav has, if you don't pay a ger toishav who's not really a yid, if there's two isurim or not. Okay, then we go weiter. The only time you're over by not paying your workers on time isn't when they ask for money. Like tavu ain't over, but if they're not tavu, then when they're not over. So it says that you can't hold overnight the payment. You would think even if he doesn't ask for money, it says with you, it has to be with your das, meaning it's not midas the employee. It has to be with the das of the employer. The way you get that is by him asking for pay.
Didn't we darshan this on the Yom and Aleph with a completely different drasha? According to the Tanaim, the various Tanaim? Isn't that how they darshan? No. Itcha was what they darshan to include behemoths and kalim.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Includes anything you bring with you. That's Rabbi Yossi Yehuda. I'm sorry, not Rabbi Yossi Yehuda. That's the time of our Mishnah.
Right. So he's saying,
and he darshaned it for something else. He said it's for even if you're, let's say, even one eshkol.
I hear. I hear. I mean, it's a drasha, so all bets are off by drashas. Maybe you could darshan it both ways. I don't know. It's not including. It's just saying itcha means it has to be with you, right, and not just his own das. Meaning he has to share the information that he was not paid.
So, but usually the Gemara would say you need it for the pashup shot. Then it's not a reboy. Then haguf, it's not a reboy. If you need it for the pashup shot, then you don't. Then it's not a reboy. You can't darshan from it to include behemoth or kalim or whatever it is.
Unless the Torah could have said it a different way and it used a certain word, whatever. Sometimes you shouldn't say.
But we just said then it's not. Then what Tiago said it's not shot. Either you can't have it both ways.
Well, it's until they tell you can.
Okay, but I'm saying like
I don't know. I hear. It's a good point. Anyways, okay. So let's see. It says so you would think even if he doesn't have money to pay, so then you don't have to. Then he's potter. It has to be, again, you see, you're dashing itcha again, Akiva. Right? Itcha, it has to be that you have money with you and you don't pay it. So you think that you're still going to be usher if you tell him to go to a store owner or a money changer and he'll take care of the employee. So itcha tells us that it's from you. You have to be the one not to pay him. But if you send him to get the money from somebody else, then he's not going to be over. Okay. If he tells him to go to a store owner, to a shulchan, he's not over. Let's say he goes to the money changer or he goes to the store owner and the guy says, fly a kite, I'm not paying you. Can he go back to his employer or not? I see this long Taisus here. We love long Taisus in the Daf Yomi, right? So Taisus says, don't worry, just the top line of the Taisus says where he says, I'm pattering you legamri, meaning if the worker says, then it's even if he doesn't pay him, pshita deina chayzedim like came b'chol mechila ba'alma tibayilei ibay kinyan alay. Meaning, if the worker said, okay, I'm absolving you from paying me, so you tell me he's going to pay me, okay, so fine, you're off the hook. Then that's it. Then he cannot. There's no backsies on that. There's no question that there's no backsies on that.
Not an ismachta.
I don't know.
Why would anyone pater? They were just meister nefesh, as we like to say, and now they're being Michael on their wages, just because he sent you to some chanvini that might or might not pay you.
Isn't a smachta to be mechayiv itself? Over here, he's patering himself.
What do you mean? What are you saying? Meaning is it an? I don't know.
Smachta is that you're gonna I'll be obligated to pay. No, over here he's doing the opposite.
Right. He's trying to get out of it. I hear.
Right. He's saying you don't owe me the money.
All right. I hear. Okay, so let's see weiter. So bottom line is, can he go back to the guy or not? So Rav Sheish is back in the Gemara. Rav Sheish is Amar Ein Chayzer. Rav Sheish says he can't go back. Rabba Amar Chayzer, he could go back. So Amar Rabba, and then you have to figure out. Okay, so when he goes back, so then he has 1 day to pay. How does that work? L'chayra. So Amar Rabba Mina Alam B'Dikatani Eina Over Allah. He said he's not over. Maver hu delay over. Right? He's not over on it. Ha mihadar hadar, meaning, but if he wants, he could come back. It doesn't say potter. The Lashon, he doesn't say, oh, he's potter. He says he's not over. Not over sounds like, okay, but if he comes back, he comes back. Rav Shesha Zamar, my eina over, eina b'toiras lavor. He's not in the Torah of being over. Right? Meaning he's bechlal. Rashi says, claimer ein lo yolav klum. She'ela b'toras damim. Shum averes schar scher. He got nothing. He's gone. He's totally absolved from anything. Okay. So that's a machlokes.
Mashma from Rashi, he's not absolved from payment. He still has to make sure the guy gets paid. But he's absolved insofar as the lavim are concerned.
Right. Right. He's not. Yes. Well, Taisus maybe. If either way Taisus says it, maybe. But if he mamish told him he doesn't have to pay him. All right, but then we're just talking about whether you're over. If you don't pay your guy, you're certainly not getting the Tzaddik of the Year award. Right?
Oh, he has a chiyuv. He can take the stuff. He can take him to Bezdin.
He got Oma. He's just not going to be around the Yisurim. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. So they asked him, kablanus. Now, so kablanus is contracted. So far, we're talking about hourly workers or a steady employee. But what happens if you contract a guy, which is most business nowadays? You had a guy contractor come to your house, contractor comes to your house, does the work for you, and then you don't pay him at the end of the contract. Is that part of this isser or not? Kablanus over mishum baltalin, or ain't over mishum baltalin? Are you over or are you not over? What's the machlokes based on? Uman koina b'shvach kli. So meaning, why shouldn't you have to pay him? So the reason is because when an uman does work for you, he's kind of the kli. When he improves the kli, let's say the house. I don't know how it works in houses. The truth is, but let's go with the simple case. You give your kais into the metal worker to fix your kais. Right when he starts fixing it, it becomes his. Now you owe him. Now it's a halva. So if it's a halva, there's no isser in not paying back halva right away. Again, you might not get the tzaddik yira word, but it's not.
Give it the kais. He won't give you the kais until you pay him.
What?
He doesn't give you back the kais until you pay him.
Correct, but it becomes a loan.
But you can't. It's not the same thing as you hire.
No,
somebody.
he gave you back
I
the
gave-
Kais. He gave
Right.
you.
What's
Because he's
gonna be
an
when you
idiot.
hire? What's gonna be when you hire somebody
That's the
to
way it
provide
works.
services for
I
you?
bring in something to somebody. He doesn't give it back. I give it
Right.
to
So
the
I don't know
cleaners.
how it would work with services. I don't know how I don't know. Is services considered a contract?
What do you mean by services? Monthly extermination?
Yeah.
Services meaning,
No,
meaning there's
no,
no there's no
totally.
there's no
Totally.
kli to be there's no kli for the guy to be kinda. You hired
Right.
the guy to come fix your kitchen sink. There's no kli over there.
Yeah.
Right, so then they bill you. And then you have 30, 90 days and you push that off again. The 39 days,
Naftali.
But that becomes a loan.
Right, okay. What is that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Rabbi.
There's no tzad over there you're over. There's no tzad.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Reb Shimon Yaakov gave
Yeah.
you his becha to take to a becha fixer, right?
He's
Yeah,
gonna
and
put it
it's
up to
100
auction if I have
And
it.
it's $100, right? So Reb Shimon Yaakov says, Naftali, I don't have the money now. So you take the $100 from your pocket. Of course, you're a good Talmud and a good Chav, and you pay the guy. And Reb Shimon Yaakov says, forget about it. I got the becha already. I made Kiddush tonight without paying for it. No?
Right,
So what do you
right.
do,
That's
Naftali?
the case. So you over on this.
Okay. Fine.
He gave it back to you. He shouldn't have given.
Right, okay,
Of
okay.
course, every time you don't pay the contractor in full, because then he's not. So you can ask it the other way too, Ben. Right? Let's say you paid the contractor and he still has to come back and fix some things. Is he over? I mean, you can't say that, but is there?
That's why you don't pay in full.
Well, that's how you have to do it. But okay. So anyway, so it becomes a halva. Ain't uman kind of a shvach kli, or do we say the uman is not kind of the kli? And what is it? He's working for you. So v'schirus and it's schirus. I have no idea what's with if it's just services. I don't know. That l'chayra then he would be chayiv l'chayra. Some of the Rosh Hashanahs. What?
I mean, like a doctor or a psychologist, somebody.
Yeah, or even an
There's nothing,
exterminator.
nothing physical. He didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Got to look into that.
I was thinking about asking that yesterday. We were talking about substitute teachers. So even though we confuse it even more, technically they're paid by the hour, but their job is not an hourly job. It's to do a job. It's to teach. To teach whatever, 2 periods or whatever it might be.
Right.
It's a kablanus, but without any
hear.
to be kind of. Yeah.
Also, by services, since there's no kli, I would think that they would be chayiv because there's no way. Can you turn it into a hava? Like the Gemara sounds like because there's a kli here, then maybe it's hava, maybe it's chiris.
Right, that's it. It's l'chayra. It's all tali. It's all tali. The chayra that Sadim in the Gemara are because of the kli. Otherwise, it sounds like it would be no different than anything else. Okay, right. So I remember Sheshes Iver. He is Iver, right? But Elamaisa, the truth is in the halacha Elamaisa, we're saying that he's Iver. That's the way we pass it.
And maybe bottom Tosfos talks about it. Maybe.
Yeah, the Tosfos does talk about it, but Lamaisa, that's the way we pass it, as far as I know. Okay, so Gemara says Vatanya ain't Iver. Bryce says you're not Iver. Hasam Shimcheu Eitzel Chanavani Eitzel Shulchani. Now that case that was talking about where he put him by a shulchani or a
Chenveni.
yeah, meaning he got out of it the other way, but that's why. Yeah, fine. Let's say this is a proof to nice talisa lumen. Somebody gives a talis to an uman, right? And gomrava idea, and the talis is a classic case. That's what you're talking about, right? Gomrava idea, he finished the talis, and he told the guy, by the way, come pick up your talis, but he didn't give it back to him. Afilu mikanvad asara yamim, even for 10 days, he's not over Baltalin because he didn't give him back the jacket. He didn't give it back to him. If he gave it to him by chatzos, right halfway through the day, mishakal of a chamba, once there's shkia, over mishum baltalin, then he's over on baltalin. Be amrit uman kind of b'shvach kli. If he said he was uman was kind of b'shvach kli, that means that the repairman, whoever's fixing this talis, is kind of am I over? So then why is he over? Right? Elamai, because we hold that there is there is what do you call Baltolan even in this case. Fine. So Amar Amari
I don't understand this. Didn't we already ask him that Omen Kaiser B'Shvach Kli?
Yeah, but the question is,
we hold Omen Kaiser B'Shvach Kli. Here the Gemara says that it's Toila on whether Omen Kaiser B'Shvach Kli or not. The tzad to say that he's over is if Omen is not Kaiser B'Shvach Kli.
So that's the bottom toisus. That's the bottom toisus. Yeah, but it's getting a little late now because now we're up against for those going to daven. So, yeah, fine. So Amar Amari Breder of Kahana, Begard Sarbala. So he says not a proof, right? Because what this repair on the garment was not a regular repair for the garment that it should be cleaned. All he was doing is he was fluffing it up, right? And it actually makes the garment worse, not better. It makes it look, fluffed up. So maybe it's okay. Meaning it's okay because he was not kind of the
You pressed it, you didn't clean it. You just pressed
yeah. Well, yeah, or you whatever it is that you did, you didn't. If anything, you made it worth less. They're gonna say there's nothing be kind. So Gemara says Lamai Yavin Naheli. Right. So why did he give it to him for? The Rechuche, he gave it to him to soften it up. So Hainu Shvachi. So then he did improve it. So when it says like somewhere where he rented him the Tushe Batcha Ubatcha Bamasa. He hired him to make a mark on the clothing and for a ma. Basically what he was doing, I guess this is in Yonah the Yomer. You get the clothing stamped for camp with the kid's name on it so he doesn't lose it. Right? Meaning that he was paying him by this. He was paying him, I guess, I don't know. It wasn't. He's paying him per stamp, or for every whatever amount.
Yeah, per stamp. Rashi says per stamp.
Yeah, so per stamp, or and Mamela, it's not. It was not anything contract, and he wasn't doing anything that affected the actual kli. Okay, on to base now. So now this is a back and forth chick chock. We already did some of it, so it's really not hard, but it's really rapid fire back and forth Gemara. So we said that a worker during his employment hours, like let's say he was employed for today. So today, now it's 8:03 in New York, right? So he's employed today and he says to the worker, to his boss, I didn't get paid today. So he's believed until Shkia, right? So he makes a shua and the boss has to pay him, right? But if tomorrow he comes and says, you didn't pay me for yesterday, then he's not believed. That's what the Gemara says.
Only until Shkia or until Alois tomorrow?
Well, again, depending on which type of worker he was. But for simple simplicity, let's just say it was like the hourly worker, then it's over today. Yeah? So the Gemara asks here, why did the Chachamim make a takana that he should swear and take his money? Meaning, normally, in the din of swearing, the defendant, there's no such thing as the plaintiff, I guess it's called, the plaintiff. The plaintiff, the guy tining, right? The guy asking for money never makes a shvua and then takes his money. It's always the defendant that makes a shvua and then he doesn't have to pay. Except here, who's the defendant? The defendant is the owner. So the defendant should make a shvua and not have to pay. But here, all of a sudden, we're saying, no, the plaintiff, I don't know if I'm saying the right word, but the guy complaining who wants money, here we're saying he makes a shvua and he gets to keep the money. That's not the way we work in halacha, in the dinim of shvuas. It's the defendant that gets to swear and becomes pater. So why did the Chachamim make this takana? So Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel, halachas gedayla shanukan. We hear big halachas from this, right? These are major halachas that we learn from that. So first, the Gemara has some technical issues. Hani hilchasa ninu. Hilchasa normally means halacha l'maishu b'sina. See, we look at halachas. It's halacha. No, halacha means halacha l'maishu b'sina. So the Gemara is asking, do you mean to say that this din that the worker makes a shvu and takes it is halacha l'maishu b'sina? Takanas ninu. These are takanas chachamim, not hilchasa. Elam Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel tiknu takanas gedai l'shanukan. It's takanas gedolos. So take out halachas gedolos. It's takanas gedolos. So Gemara says gedolos mechlal kitanas. If you're saying that there's big takanas, there must be that there's small ones too, right? And memela what? So what's the kasha? sounds like there's such a thing as small takonos, right? So, meaning this every takana chachamim is a major takana. Look at the second Tosfos, yeah. So Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Shmuel, takanas kvuas shanukan. What we're talking about is these are takanas kvuas, meaning the takana that's staying forever, right? And like Rashi Rabar, and this Rashi is for you. Takanas kvuas, fourth line down in the Rashi, right? It's a little scary, this Rashi, but Rashi says, Roy la soisem keva lakar aleim dover min ha-Torah. The Chachamim are making a kviyas and they're being oiker, something that it says in the Torah. The Raisa Misha Yeshalav l'Shalem Hu Nishba. Min ha-Torah, like we said, Min ha-Torah, the defendant makes the shvua and he's potter, right? Etc. Etc. So the Chachamim Mamash made a takana fakert from the Torah, right? And said here by the worker he can make the shvua and he gets to take money, right?
Is that always true?
It's
if
the
if
big
he's
story.
kaifer,
What do you mean?
if he's kaifer bakol, you're not mechayiv b'shua d'oraisa. So what does he mean? You're oiker? Not in every case. If
No,
a person
not in
says I
most,
paid him
no.
completely, so what does it
And
mean that they're oiker? In that scenario, it was when they were misak and the shuas of Naitel, they were in that case that you're not being
that's why
oiker.
that's what. No, Akiva, I hear what you're saying. But I think that's what Rashi means is Misha Yesh Alav L'Shalim, because the bottom line is this boss, this Maida that he has to pay him, meaning he's not denying that he wasn't his employee. I don't know if that changes it. Obviously, this is Sugi and Shvuas. But anyways, so yeah, but I hear your point, but I think that's what Rashi's saying, Misha Yesh Alav L'Shalim. But maybe not. Maybe I'm reading into it wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's only if there's a chiyuv to pay, then you have to make it like a madhum mixer. So kaifer bakol, there's no chiyuv shvu over there.
Right. Yeah, I hear.
Anyway,
But he's able to, even if it's kaifer bakol, he's able to make a shua over here and collect.
Right. That's true.
That's what I'm asking. Even in scenarios the kaifer bakol, where you're not being oiker davar terminator, they're banner misak in the shua.
Right, but it doesn't have to be in every place. But you see that the chachamim are oiker a standard thing here.
I don't think it means the specific Iker Dovim and Torah. This
concept.
Shvua was never a Shvua Midiraisa.
Right.
It's the concept. When the Torah teaches what a Shvua is, it's a Shvua Ve'ein Meshalman. Here it's a Shvua V'naita. That's the opposite of a Deraisa Dika Shvua.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's see. So Rav Nachman Shmuel Taknua Kavua Shanukan. It's Kavua. Shavua the Balabayasi. Really, it should be the shvua of the balabais. And they uprooted the shvua of the balabais for shadyu asachir, and they threw it onto, or they moved it onto the worker mishum kidei chayav the sachir, because of the life of the sachir. Meaning, this is he worked, right? He needs to get paid, right? And like we said on Amid Aleph, right? He's putting his life in danger. He needs to get paid. So Mamela, we believe him. So the Gemara, let's read all the Gemara back and forth. It's very nice that this guy needs a parnasa, right? But you're going to go make the owner lose because this guy needs a parnasa, right? We learned many times. We said it yesterday also in the top. But when Bezdin cannot favor a poor person over a rich person, the psak is the psak. So how can you do that? So Gemara says, no, Balabayas gufein nichalei the mishtav v'sachim v'shakov. The Balabayas is also happy. If this guy swears and will take the money, the Balabais is happy to give it to him. Why? So that workers will want to be employed by this guy, because they say, oh, if you're ever going to have a dispute over your paycheck, this guy is going to let you make a shvua and then you'll take your money, right? So it's going to be good for the seller, for the owner's reputation. People are going to work for him. So Gemara says, but the worker himself also, he'll be happy if the Balabayas swears, and then B'yifkan he'll be potter. So that people will want to hire him. They'll say, "Oh, this worker, if you're going to get into a dispute, he'll just let you swear, and you won't have to pay him." So Gemara answers, "Balabayas al karche agar." Balabayas is forced to rent out workers. So Mamela, he's not going to be worried about. Meaning an employee is not going to be worried about getting jobs because employers need employees. So Gemara asks, "Here nami bal karchi iska." Well, a seer needs to work. This is your classic back and forth. who got
Capitalism
brand.
and socialism. Yeah.
Okay, exactly. This is mamish the back and forth with management against who's gonna hold out, right? So here nami bal korchi is.
Yaakov,
Yeah.
I don't remember the numbers. It doesn't really matter numbers. John D. Rockefeller Sr., the one who made the Standard Oil, the monopoly. So he asked for ages. One of his guys, managers, wanted to come up to be able to make more money. So they told him. So he gave $100,000 at that time to one of the Chashuvat stalkers, let's say the Boy Scouts or the Red Cross, whatever it was, I don't know. And they was on all the papers headlines, and they raised the wholesale price of the oil by a nickel. So he made like $10 million.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So that's the question. Who I guess in that he definitely had the upper hand. Yeah. So anyway, so the Gemara says so Sachir Nami. Ella, so now the Gemara changed, right? Every time it says Ella means it's a new teretz. Right? So Gemara says Ella Balabayas tarred b'payalimhu. The Balabayas is tarred with his workers, so it's very possible that he thought he paid his guy and he didn't pay his guy. So Mamela, we let the workers swear. If that's so pashit that the owner gets absent-minded, so then they do it out of shvur. So say, could they love his diet to Shabbalabais? No, we got to calm the Balabais down too, that he's not paying his worker twice. So therefore, we make the worker make a shvur. Okay, v'nasav la be'edim. So why don't we just make a takana that whenever you pay your workers, pay them with witnesses? Tricha lo mil, so that's too big a tircha. Okay, v'nasiv la me'ikara, right? Meaning, so why don't you just pay all your workers before they start working? So when I answer Shneim writes in Bakava, they both want it on credit. Why? The worker wants it on credit because he doesn't want to have to hold on to the money while he's working, then he may lose it. And the owner wants it on credit because he doesn't want to have to pay his workers before he makes his money. So what I ask you, if you look kafatz nami, so if that's the case, then even if they made a tanai, alama tanya, why do we learn in the price? So umanoy mishtayim katzatzali. Meaning when they made a business an agreement with each other and they're having a disagreement over how much they're supposed to get paid, right? Another classic. It says Uman oimershtayim katzatzali. The worker says, you tell me you're paying me 2. The other one says, I'm only paying you 1. It's a but why? Meaning, and therefore the employee has to prove that he was supposed to get paid 2. Why? Maybe the owner was also absent-minded and he was busy. So why is that different? So what answers? When you made a deal with somebody, that you remember. Whether you actually paid a guy, that you may not remember. But when you made a deal, that you remember. If that's the case, and we're afraid that the store owner is absent-minded, then even if the time passed, the worker should be believed. If this man passed, he doesn't swear and he doesn't take. So when answers chazaka ain't balabayis over mishum baltolin. It's a chazaka that a balabayis is not over on baltolin. Meaning a balabayis has a chazaka that they pay on time. I don't know if that chazaka, based on hearing from people in the working world now, if what happened to that chazaka. I guess for paychecks they pay, just vendors maybe not. And the says, but you said that a balabayis is tarud, so it could very well be that he has a chazaka that he pays his workers, but could be he forgot. He could forget before it becomes time for the chiyuv, meaning the latest time he could pay on Talmud Aleph. But when the time, the zman chiyuv comes, then he's going to remember he's going to pay. So he knows that once the work day passes, then he's going to remember whether he got paid or not. So therefore, the worker cannot swear and take. So okay, the Gemara asks for so why don't you say that the worker has a chazak? He doesn't want to steal. Meaning, a worker is not going to go make himself lie. He's not going to want to steal from somebody. Maybe he has a chazak that he's saying the truth. So Gemara says, and this can get into a whole lumdus. Hasam trei chazaki. There by the owner, there's 2 chazakas. But by the employee, there's only 1 chazaka. Gabi balabayis, he could trade chazaki. By the owner, there's 2 chazakas. Chada de ein balabayis over mishum baltalin. 1 chazaka is that a balabayis is not over on baltalin. The chada de ein sachir masha schare. And the other one is that a sachir does not, meaning the worker does not wait to get paid. He wants to get paid that day. So between the 2 of them, it must be that the guy was already paid. V'hacha chada chazaka. But here, there's only one chazaka that the employee is not going to want to steal. That is only one chazaka. So two chazakas take over one chazaka, right? Okay, I guess let's just finish it in Mishnah. So we said, but if there's Eidim that the guy, that the employee went during the workday to ask his boss for payment, then he could make a shvua that he wasn't paid, and then he could take it. Meaning, we said that when the workday passes, he cannot make a shvua and pay. But if the Eidim say that, oh, by the way, on the workday he asked for it, then we do say that. So
Gemara says, on the workday he asked for it, he didn't get paid.
He did not get paid.
That's
So that's what it's saying. So the Gemara says, "V'katavu l'kaman," but he already had this time. I mean, what does Eidim help? Right? The Gemara is thinking right now is that we just need to prove that he's claiming that he wasn't paid. So the Gemara says, what do we need proof from Eidim that he wasn't paid? He's being koveya. He's saying that right now. So Amar Rav Asi, and I think a lot of us understood the maskano as the Havamina. Amar Rav Asi shetavu bismane. No, the Eidim are coming to say that he tiny. I really explained the Gemara through the maskana, but the Havamina was that the Eidim are coming today and saying, by the way, he complained yesterday, right? No,
That's
sorry,
sure.
they're coming today and they're saying Eidos that he didn't get paid. Now the maskana were saying, no, that's not what they're saying. They're saying that I said Eidos that he went to his boss during the workday and asked for it. That's what they're saying. So Gemara says, that's very nice that you brought Eidim that he went and asked his boss for payment on the day he was supposed to get paid, but maybe after that he got paid. Maybe after that he paid him. So how can you say that the worker can make a shvua? So he says he's been tining the whole time. He's like one of those Dre Cup workers who doesn't stop. He doesn't stop emailing, texting his boss. So there was never any break in the action. So the Gemara says, Ula Olam. So do we say now new thing? Are we going to say that even 10 years later, this guy can say, by the way, I have Eidim that you didn't pay me? So what answers? No, only that day that he complained. Meaning, as long as it's that day that he complained, then he could swear and take the money. But after that, then it's meaning it's according to Rashi at least, it's the day that he was, meaning if today was over, right now is around Shkia and 10 minutes of Shkia. If it would be tonight/tomorrow that he complained, then the Eidim work. But otherwise it does not work. Okay, we'll stop over there. Say a Tillim. Okay, Pei Gimel. Shimmer's Mal Asaf. Elim Adom Milach. Techrash Val Tishkaid El.